Hey guys, before this video started, I just wanted to give you a quick clip of thinning out some seeds. Sorry, the video's a little bit shaky. I'm, doing both at the same time. But anyways, I like to sometimes cut off the stronger seeds sometimes, just because, as you can see, some of these have stretched a little bit too far, and the last thing I want to do is have them break. So that's just a quick clip of cutting that before we get into how to set the tower garden up for an outdoor grow.
Guys, Kevin from Epic Gardening here, doing Tower Garden Grow Round 2, designed for hydroponic gardeners and not someone that's looking to learn about the tower. I'll still talk about the tower, but if you want to learn a little bit more about how the tower works, check out the first series of videos. This is going to talk about the actual process I'm using to get plants to the size that I got them in my first round, which was a little bit mind-boggling even to myself. Anyways, what I've got here is Flora Grow nutrients. I have Get Down from Mad Farmer. It's just a bunch of pH down. I got it at Exposition. Then a shot glass. And then in my hand here I have the Blue Lab pH pen, which I really highly recommend. So the first step for me, typically what you'd do is you'd add nutrients and then you'd pH, because the nutrients will shift the pH if you do pH first. But what I've done in this particular case, what I will do is just do the pH first, because it doesn't really matter. I'm putting in such a light concentration of nutrients, it won't affect the pH whatsoever, especially for a reservoir of this size. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and check the pH with the Blue Lab pH pen, then we'll move on from there. I've got the Blue Lab pH pen in the water, and I'm not sure if you can see it on this screen, but it is reading an 8.5, which is a little higher than normal for the water that comes out of San Diego tap, but it's workable. And what I'm going to do now is go ahead and dump some pH down into my shot glass. And one thing I'd recommend here, guys, is if you grow in the same systems over periods of time, try to get used to the amount of pH down you're going to have to use. Because in my particular case, I know that it's going to take about a full shot glass to get this down to that 6.1, 6.2 range. And it just speeds up the checking process. I mean, not only does having this pH pen that gives you a digital reading right off the bat speed it up, but if you know exactly how much to put in, just based on experience, you're going to save a lot of time in checking and rechecking and checking and rechecking, which sometimes makes hydroponics a little bit of a drag, at least for me, because I like things to be efficient and I like things to be easy. So next step, go ahead and put in the pH down. Okay, pH down is in the mix. I've mixed it in, let it sit for a little bit, and we are sitting pretty much, well, it looks like we're at 5.8, so I overdid it slightly. And what I'm going to do to compensate is, as you can see, the water level is a little bit lower than when I first added the water, and that's just due to a little bit of evaporation because I did leave it uncovered. So what I'll do, instead of adding pH up, I'll just add a little bit more water until we get to the 6.1-ish range. And I'm going to go ahead and add my nutrients right now. And I like to go with double what's on the back of this feeding schedule. So it says cuttings and seedlings go with a 1/4 teaspoon a gallon. 1 teaspoon is 5 milliliters, so if you're going with a 1/4 of a teaspoon, it's 1.25 milliliters per gallon. So in a 20-gallon tank, that's about, 20-ish, 25 milliliters, and that's really like half of a shot glass for this whole thing. I usually put in a full shot glass, and even then I find that after a week or so, or even after 3 to 4 days, the plants are already hungry and they're already ready to eat some more food than I'm actually giving them. So I've found that the Flora Grow is a little bit on the conservative side, but it's best to be on the conservative side than to burn out your plants right off the bat by dumping too much nutrient in. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and add a little bit more water to the system and then dump a full shot glass of nutrients in. Okay, we're back. I added some water, pH'd it up to about the 6.1 range, which is where I want to be. And then I also added the nutrients. So we're all set inside the reservoir. As you can see right now, I've got the seedlings that I've been working on. And, not all of them are done, which is okay. Not all of them are done, and I still need to thin out some of them. But the last thing I want to do is let these stretch. Let the ones that are actually ready and they're sprouted, I don't want to let them stretch to the point where they're going to basically become too weak to support themselves. So what I'll do is, you can start the tower in pieces. You don't need to go, fill the whole thing up and then start growing. You don't need to do that. You can be adaptable. You can put it in as things become ready. So what's ready right now looks like kale's ready, more than ready actually. The chard is ready to go. I'm going to let the basil sit a little bit longer. If you can see, the basil's right there. I'd like it to be a little bit healthier before I put it outside. And then the lettuce seems to be doing pretty well as well, so I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. And the first thing I have to do, however, is plug in the tower. And you're going to hear a nice little trickle noise that starts popping in once I plug it in. There we go. And that's the tower in action. Both of them actually just turned on. I have both connected. But I mean, the next step, it's honestly, it's really simple. All you need to do is just place each of these in the system just like that. And last time I was growing with these Jiffy peat moss expandable cubes. This is instead a cocoa coir expandable cube. I got it from this company called Grow, and they come in these little tubes. Actually a really cool product. Honestly, it's one of my favorite seed starters that I've ever used so far. You know, always could change, but as you can see, there's a little bit of water running along the bottom, which is exactly what we want, because these cocoa coir cubes are going to be soaking up and wicking the nutrients straight up through. So we really don't need water to be soaking everywhere. All we need is for the water to just basically graze the bottom of the net pot. So I'm going to keep on going and adding some plants to the system. It's always important to make sure that you take notes and you know exactly what you're growing where. I like to put the same plants in each row just because honestly it looks nice visually. Just looks really cool to have sort of this layered garden, this like layered visual approach to the whole thing. But you know, you can do whatever you want. That's the whole point of this. Anyways, I'm not going to bore you with me planting all of these, but this is the basic gist of it. This is how you set a tower garden up. This is how you get it going. So I'm going to go ahead and finish planting the chard, the kale, and the lettuce. I'm going to go ahead and let the spinach and the basil sit a little bit longer, as well as the cilantro, because it just seems like they're taking a little bit longer to sprout. Or maybe I have some bad seed and I might need to replant. But that's okay, because tower garden, it's extendable. You can pull it out. You can do whatever you want with it. Grow things as they come. So that's it for now, guys. That's how you set up a tower garden. That's how you set up really any sort of outdoor hydroponic grow. This is Kevin from Epic Gardening. If you want to follow along, join the Epic Gardening forums or subscribe on YouTube, because this is where I'm going to be hitting you guys with updates. And if you have questions, you know, feel free. Hit me on Facebook, hit me on Twitter, hit me on the comments, hit me on the email. It doesn't really matter. I'll respond to any of them. So anyways, good to show this video to you guys. Keep gardening.